This is big. I've been keeping this a secret and I've been so excited to share it with you guys, but I wanted to wait for the perfect time to release the news. TV shows always do Christmas specials, so I thought what better time to release this super exciting news than on Christmas Day. I hope your Christmas is going awesome. You guys got all the stuff you wanted, and please don't be antisocial in the corner watching this video. Chances are there's a lot of people that you only get to see this one time of year, so make sure you spend some time with them. Appreciate the people in your life, because you never know if this could be that very last time you ever see them. Enough of that though, let's get to the exciting stuff.
Anyone else?
The time has finally come and we are building a backyard skate park. I think one of the coolest things about our garage project is that you guys have gotten to see everything from the design phase onward, and you get to kind of enjoy the progress as it comes to life. Now, although I've been talking about wanting to build a ramp in the backyard since we got this house, I've kind of been keeping the progress a secret. So for this video, I want to bring you guys back through the process and explain everything that I've gone through, designing, to budget, to cost, to planning, to when it's going to be here and how fun it's going to be. Before we even got our first house, I knew that I wanted to have a backyard ramp, and having a suitable backyard was one of the biggest factors when we were choosing houses. This house had a large, pretty private, and very flat backyard. But the issue with Florida is that almost every single house in a nice area has a homeowners association, which are like giant no-nos for ramps. They tell you what you can and can't do on your property. So it was very tough finding a place that did not have homeowners association, but we did. I probably could build a pretty good setup in the backyard, but I have so many projects going on and so little time that I know it would take years for me to even get a setup that actually uses the full backyard and is fun. A ramp that I build would probably be a little bit sketchy, which can definitely be fun, but I wanted a ramp that's perfect. Everything with this house, I've been obsessing over it, and I'm just so detail oriented that having a sketchy ramp next to a really sick house just wouldn't mesh up right in my head. With some things, it's just better to leave it to the professionals. I'll get a better ramp, I'll get it done faster, and it'll probably last way longer. There are so many ramp builders out there, some that are super well known, some that are kind of low key but still build great ramps. A pro BMX rider by the name of Corey Rogowski started a ramp company called Ramped Construction. I've been paying attention to the ramps that they built on Facebook, and what really caught my attention was that their ramps weren't just big hunks of wood. They were artistic pieces. They had lots of little details, and they just looked over the top, which is exactly what I want for our backyard. What really sold me though is that Corey and his crew are BMX riders, and the last thing I would want to do is have help from a skateboarder design my ramp and then not have transition that would feel good on a bike. Building a ramp is a lot of work, so if you choose the wrong dimensions and you build a box jump that's really hard to clear or is too short or just doesn't feel good, that's a lot of wasted time and money. So I hit up Corey and we started the process. The budget I had come up with for the ramp was $30,000. That may sound like a lot to you, but for a ramp, that's really not that much. Just the wood alone costs so much, and if you want to have a decent sized ramp, you're going to be spending quite a bit of money. At the time, I viewed the ramp as a sunk cost. Basically, once it's built, it's worth nothing. If we ever moved, I can't move that big of a ramp, so I just figured it's practically garbage. But the cool thing is, for me, with my brand and the YouTube channel, I can justify a cost like that as a business investment, because if it enables me to ride more, produce more content, and draw new people to the channel with this allure of this awesome skate park in my backyard, over a period of time, it will in fact pay for itself. The situation that I'm in is obviously unique, and I'm incredibly grateful for it. I'm not bragging, I just want to explain to you guys that I don't view this as just throwing money away. The next question is surface. I actually have a ramp in my backyard in Connecticut, and that ramp was made out of pressure treated plywood. It's withstood like 5 winters and we can still ride it, but it definitely shows sign of weathering and wear. Some of the panels are warped. It's a little spongy and it's not as smooth as it used to be. But pressure treated is super cheap, so that's why a lot of backyard ramps tend to go with it. I wanted to do something different though, and Corey and I were toying with the idea of doing the entire ramp with ramp armor. If you're familiar with Skate Light, it's very, very similar. I've just heard that ramp armor lasts better in Florida. It's basically like a plywood resin plastic plastic thing that's honestly indestructible. That's what I used for my quarter pipe in my driveway, and I love it. It's so smooth, but it's ridiculously expensive. I think the price on it is almost like $150 a sheet. That's a lot of money. In order to do a full ramp armor surface, I had to about double my budget. But here's the way I look at it. If I spend the money on the ramp armor, it's gonna protect that ramp as an investment. And if we do move, we can move all the ramps and all the wood will almost be as good as new. It's gonna sound ridiculous to you guys, but I can't see us living here for more than a couple more years. We're like right on top of a main road. I want more privacy. Nicole wants more privacy. It would be nice to have a bigger yard where we can do more things. I don't know, like dirt bikes and stuff. And of course, you know, I always want a bigger garage. But I didn't want to get trapped in that rental mindset where you don't really do anything to your house because you know that you're gonna leave eventually. We're doing what we want with the house, and although it's quite costly, we may never get that money back. It's fun, it's exciting, it's videos, and who knows, we might live here longer than we think. So ramp armor it is. For the first stage of design, I told Corey what I wanted to have in the ramp in my backyard. There are basically 3 things that I wanted. One of them was a fun box jump, not super big, but not super small, just enough to kind of float and do some tricks over. Number 2 was a pyramid. I love like pyramid bank hips. I love doing tricks on them. They're kind of chill and fun to mess around on. And 3 was just like a nice quarter hip. I just love like moto whipping and doing tables and stuff over hips. I told him I wanted more of a flowy backyard because although I'm way better at riding street than park, I have way more fun riding park because it's chill, it's flowy, I get to go high and fast. And I want just a chill, fun place for people to come over, hang out, ride. I don't know. So we played around, made the first draft of the design, and my mind was blown. I didn't realize we had that much space in the backyard and we could fit that much stuff. There are a couple problems though. I don't really care for spines, and I hate narrow box jumps. So I came up with the idea of getting rid of the spine and making the box jump wider. But then on the ramp, you have just like this big side of the box jump sticking out and in your way. So I thought, why don't we make a transition on the side of the box jump, and then that can be like another hip. That was easy to change, and it allowed us to make the whole ramp a little bit narrower and save money in all that ramp armor. The next thing was the fun box. I wanted to make that a little bit wider because I like to be able to do like manual 360s and nose manual 360s and all that stuff. And it looked a little bit narrow to be able to fit that in. So we widened that out too. And now we have this cool little section between the box jump side and the pyramid. So you can kind of use that to just mess around. But the biggest problem I saw was the aesthetic appeal of the ramp. With this ramp, I want to be able to open up the slider door, walk outside, and just be like, bam! Look at it. But the way that the ramp was designed, you walk outside and you see the back of a giant quarter and you have to like walk around it to get inside the ramp. So the challenge was finding a way to open up that section of the ramp so you could walk outside, see everything without ruining the flow. We were able to open that section up by putting 2 5-foot quarter hips in place of that 1 long quarter on the back, which honestly I think will be more fun because I added 2 more hips and it'll honestly be kind of like a circular flow to the park. But I was worried that after that box jump, you're gonna have too much speed, and you know, if you're not comfortable hitting the hip, you'll have to just freaking roast it and die. So I came up with the idea of putting an extension, and now in the picture, it isn't totally final because we might widen it a little bit so the extension can be farther away from the hip and it won't interfere. But then you have the option of hitting the extension and then the box backwards instead of having to do the hip. The new box jump looks so good, that side looks super fun, and so you know, the box jump we were planning on doing, I believe, a 5-foot lip and a 6-foot landing. The reason we're doing that is so you can have a roller landing. If you've ever ridden a park that has a roller landing and it's the same height as the lip, you actually have to over clear the box for it not to feel like you're casing, and that's just sketchy and not fun, but this looks perfect. The best part is, since this ramp's so much smaller, we have room for almost like another channel of expansion on the side next to the fence and towards the front of the house by the patio. I have some crazy ideas for that stuff, but that'll probably be another phase down the road, maybe even next year, just to keep things interesting. After we got the design all set, my next step was to go and talk to the neighbors and make sure that it's cool. Although it's not really on their property and we don't have homeowners association, it's just kind of a courtesy to talk to the neighbors and make sure that they don't mind something of that nature that's gonna be so close to them. My ramp on the Connecticut, I had issues because I had some like old neighbors that just caused nothing but problems. They would call the cops on us, they were building without a permit, and just give us a hard time for lots of stupid stuff. And the good thing is our neighbors were super cool with it. What I'm working on with the ramp now is figuring out what I'm gonna do for fencing because I want the entire back area of our yard enclosed. And I've also been doing research into security cameras and ways that I can keep people out of the backyard because it's gonna be a huge liability having that ramp there. And we're gonna have to take trespassing extremely seriously. So this is what's crazy. We are starting construction of the ramp on January 4th. that's less than 2 weeks away, and they think that the ramp will only take about 14 days to complete in its entirety. That means in less than a month, we'll be riding like one of the coolest ramps right out there in our backyard. No driving, no session times, no worrying about being kicked out because bikes aren't allowed. It worked out well because I'm super eager to get this ramp in the backyard before it starts getting hot out and I don't want to ride outside. And Corey's super eager to get out of the cold, so we're able to do this super quick. This short of notice is like unheard of in the ramp building world. Big projects like this, I always talk about it, and sometimes it's hard for me to commit and start the process because it is so much work and so many logistics involved with it. But it's begun, it's happening, and I could not be more excited. I think the plans for a truck are gonna get placed on hold for at least a couple weeks, maybe a couple months. I don't like making a lot of big purchases at once. I'd rather take care of 2016 taxes and get a better picture of where we are before I go spend a lot of money on a truck too. I'm stoked though. This is like a dream come true. I can't believe this is happening. I 100% could not do it without you guys. I hope you're as excited as I am. This is gonna be so sick. And you know I'm gonna show as much of the process as I possibly can and try to make interesting videos of the process, the first ride, all the tricks, all the hips. Gosh, it's gonna be amazing. The ramp design is pretty locked in because we've already placed the orders for the wood and the ramp armor and everything, but if you have any suggestions that you think might be very easy to do, feel free to leave them in the comments. Hit the like button if you're excited for this video, and I will see you guys again soon. Tomorrow's video, we are installing the 2-post lift in the garage, and it got a little interesting. Have a wonderful Christmas. You guys are like family to us. And remember, sticks and stones may break your bones, but sharing this video will never hurt you.